The Big Fight, sponsored by 666bet.com.
This is James Elder for IFL TV in association with Eubank Jnr Marbella and 666bet. I'm here today at the Bad Blood Club DXL Arena. We've just seen a fantastic card. Going to give me his reaction to what we've just seen is Danny Flexen from Boxing News. How are we doing, Dan?
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. Just about staying awake. It's been a long day, but we're hanging in there.
Indeed. Now, firstly and foremost, talk to me about Billy Joe Saunders versus Eubank Jnr. What a great fight. Can you tell me how you saw it?
They're cheering for me, obviously. I had Billy Joe Saunders winning by a round. I had it all on the last round, which I think he just about edged. He did very well. I think he won the first 5 rounds. I'd have to check my notes. Eubank came on really well in the middle rounds. He had Saunders hanging on at times. Saunders' old conditioning problems or question marks surrounding his conditioning came up once again, which is disappointing for him, especially after looking in great shape, spending all that time in Marbella. But then he pulled it out like a champion does in the last 11th, 12th round, just to make sure of the victory. But it could have gone either way. Eubank's proved himself in defeat as well. He's not a young pretender, he is the real deal.
Do you think Billy Joe Saunders, with the experience of doing the 12 rounds before, dealing with the occasion, dealing with undefeated fighters, do you think that stood him in good stead and maybe just got him through it?
Very much so, yeah, and I think a lot of people thought it would in the build-up. You know, Eubank Jr hadn't fought that level of opposition. He hadn't fought over the 12-round distance before. He hadn't really proved himself, whereas Billy Joe had, and that proved the difference in the end, although it was a very, very close call. It was a lot closer than I expected it to be.
Eubank done himself justice?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I mean, he'll be gutted that he didn't win. He'll be gutted that he didn't start his surge a bit earlier because it was that close that it would have made a big difference. But yeah, I mean, he hadn't proved anything before. He'd been fighting a lot of imports, a lot of unproven fighters, a lot of smaller fighters. But this time he's fought, an Olympian, a great amateur, someone who's a European champion, undefeated fighter, and almost beat him. You know, he's really given a good account of himself. Maybe they'll go again. Before
we talk to where Billy Joe Saunders goes from here, as we all pretty know, where does Eubank Jr go from here?
Back to the gym, first of all, but he's right up there now among the domestic contenders. He's pushed Billy Joe harder than anyone else has. You know, in that sense, he's ranked above the likes of John Ryder and Nick Blackwell, who haven't given Billy Joe quite as tough a fight as Eubank did.
Spike Sullivan.
Even Spike Sullivan, yeah, who had a great win recently, of course. So he could go back in at top domestic level, or he could have a rematch with Saunders, because although Saunders is now in line for a world title shot, what we can't forget is that he was in line for a world title shot before he took this fight. There's more money on the table, surely, for another Eubank fight than there is for him to fight someone like Korobov, for example.
But if he fights Korobov, beats Korobov, hypothetically, he said today the first thing he'll do is give Eubank Jr a rematch. That could be absolutely massive, couldn't it?
It could be. I mean, I'm not certain.
Ifs and buts?
There are, because first of all, I'm not certain I'd back Saunders to beat Korobov on the performance he showed there. Second of all, Korobov hasn't beaten Andy Lee yet, which is not going to be a walk in the park.
Let's not take it for granted that Korobov's going to go through Andy Lee, because you've only got to ask Jackson to find out how hard Andy Lee actually punches, you know?
Well, exactly, so that's not a foregone conclusion. But if Saunders were to beat Korobov and then give Eubank a shot, and I'm guessing he'd be rated in the top 10 of the WBO now after that performance, then yeah, it'd be a brilliant rematch with more at stake than this one. So yeah, we'd all look forward to that.
Alright, well listen, thank you for giving me a bit of your time today. Did you enjoy the card? And what was your most standout fight?
I thought Frank Buglioni's win over Andrew Robinson was the most entertaining fight. It wasn't the most technically refined. Eubank Jr Saunders was definitely better from a technical perspective. It was more of a brawl, the Buglioni fight. But yeah, really exciting to watch.
Alright, well listen, job well done by Frank Ron. What would you say? How would you, out of 10, what marks would you give this show?
Probably a 7 or an 8. I mean, most of the fights were pretty entertaining. I wouldn't say there was one 5-star fight.
A bit harsh, I think 7's a little bit harsh.
I think on average, I think Fury Chisora wasn't great. I think Gavin Skeet wasn't great to watch as a spectacle. Very skillful. Well, that's the thing, and most people predicted it wouldn't be great to watch. But there wasn't a 5-star outstanding fight on the show. I don't think Saunders Eubank was a 5-star fight. It was a 4-star fight. Sykes Walsh was good as well. Buglioni was good. Say 7.5.
You're hard to please, you Boxing News. Dude.
I know.
You're hard to please. Too much American stuff on the phone.
Maybe if you'd have asked me 4 hours ago, it would have been a higher mark.
All right. Well, listen, I'm not going to argue with that. Thank you for giving me a bit of time. As I said, I think you Boxing News guys are doing a cracking job.
So are you guys.
We'll catch you again real soon.
Cheers, James.
Cheers, mate.
Take care, mate. Bye bye.
Sponsored by 666bet.com.